Alrighty. So, so keep typing and I'm going to just read some of these. So we've got more communication and connectivity. Well, we're definitely going to get that tonight. Always we can dive more into that. Always, always. Space to move and create. A clearer mind, especially when things are going in overdrive. Sure we can all relate to that one. Yeah, Petra's nodding. Oh, yes. Less judgment of myself and others, to fully be in my own experience, and more consistent trust. Yeah, that's a nice one too. Oh, yes. Acceptance of all situations. More energy, less negative self-talk. To consistently experience sensations of feeling lighter, stronger, more lucid, sleek, clear, and crystalline. And then we have no physical pain. So you can see we've got a lot of crossover here, and yet very unique. So each person's expression of it is like your perspective for your here right now, but they're actually, you know, when we look at them, they're actually very similar. All right, so so how are we going to get there is the question. Well, we are going to get there through the wisdom of our body, of course, because you've had a LAHF experience. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be connecting through my connection to the everythingness. So we are all connected. Every atom in the universe is connected to every other atom in the universe. And there is science to explain that. But if you imagine in your body, you know, you're made up of a bunch of atoms, right? You know, or you could imagine a bunch of cells. Maybe that's easier. Or you could imagine a bunch of organs and endocrines and body parts. You made up a bunch of smaller things. And all of those things need to be talking to everything else, or else there'd be chaos. Imagine if, like, your liver was on its own kick and it was just like, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And your kidneys are like, well, we're going to just start doing whatever. You know, if they're not listening to their adjoining parts, if there's not this communication system, there's just a big mess. And so you can look at this on all different fractal levels, you know, but as every atom in the universe is connected to every other atom, it's like everything needs to be talking to everything else in order for reality to exist. So we all have this connection, we all have these abilities to connect to an intelligence that is far bigger than our logical minds. And we can do that for ourselves, and primarily, like, that's a really cool thing to be able to do, and be able to do that more and more and better and better. And then we can also do that for other people. So this is what I've been practicing for the past whole bunch of years. So I'm going to be connecting through my connection to the everything to you. So to you as an individual, and then to the group. And I'm going to be basically kind of navigating through all of the different tools and the possible things that could come up to find out what is the priority for our group, and you as an individual as part of the group, and as the group as a whole. And then all that we're going to be doing is getting our own bodies, our own brains, our own nervous systems to see what we're bringing up. And if it's ready to improve that, it will. And if there's nothing there, if your body's like, you know what, I got all this down, we're good, we don't need any improvement, which is unlikely, because we all need improvement all of the time, then it will ignore us. But, you know, pretty much anything, when you look, there's always better and better we can move to. So we are going to start in a body part, and to be, I'm going to actually ask one of you. Hey, Drew, so you just jumped on here. Becky, I'm getting to ask you, is there a body part for you that kind of jumps out saying, me, 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 me? Which is the first one that shouted the loudest? My right elbow, okay. All right, so we're going to do something with elbows. Interesting. Elbows are very cool. I don't do much with them, but I mean, I do a lot with them actually. Use them all the time, but they're not something that we frequently do, particularly in these like hour-long webinars, because they're a little less commonly shouting out for attention. So that's probably why I needed to ask you about that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're all going to assess how our elbows feel right now. So how mobile do your elbows feel? And notice, how do they feel relative to each other? And then how mobile do they feel in general? Do they feel like comfortable when you flex them? Do they feel comfortable when your arms are straight? And how do they feel in the intermediary space in between? Okay, so now we're going to start on the right. And we're going to, okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to take your left hand and you're going to place it on the inside of your right elbow. Inside of your right elbow. And you're just going to imagine, so we're just going straight in with some imagery. You're going to imagine that the warmth from your hand can literally just warm the space on the inside of your elbow. So now the inside of your elbow is relatively soft. I mean, unless you've got your bicep flexed, it's the soft, squishy part. It's kind of the part that you would want to hide away because it doesn't have a lot of protection there. So you're just going to put your hand over it and just imagine that it can actually soften a little more. So you're going to imagine, okay, inside of elbow, it's okay to be soft and mobile. You're just going to imagine that softness there in the elbow, softness, softness. And then you're going to move your hand up a little, so you're just above on the kind of end of the bicep. And you're going to put your hand on this muscle here, so the hand on your bicep muscle. And you're going to just flex your arm in and then extend it out. And just notice what is happening under your hand as you do that. So do you feel the muscle in there? How it's shortening, it's sliding together or bulging, and then as you lengthen, it's sliding apart. So we're actually going to do a little muscle sliding for the biceps. So muscles slide. If you actually zoom in, there's filaments called actin and myosin that slide against each other. And for those of you who are Franklin Method students and gone deeper into that, there's a lot more that we can go into that. But for now, just imagine the muscle slides. So it slides together and it slides apart. Rather than thinking the thing just like buckles. It actually slides and slides. So you're going to put your hand on the lower part of the bicep. And when you bend the arm in, is it sliding together or apart? Together? Yeah. And then when you lengthen the arm, it's sliding apart. And so you're going to imagine that. So can you imagine the muscles sliding together? And then can you imagine it sliding apart? So if I had two combs, it would look like this. Slide together and then slide apart. And slide it together. And slide it apart. And can you keep breathing while you do this? And again, slide together. And slide apart. Now move your hand up a little bit so you're more on the bulge of the muscle. And again, slide it together. And can you really let it slide apart? Let it slide apart, let it slide apart. Yeah. And let it slide together. And now really let it slide apart. So can you imagine the sliding of those muscle filaments, fibers? And again, sliding together. And sliding apart, and move your hand up one more time so you're more on the top part of it, and sliding together, and really let it slide apart, and one more time together, and apart, and now just kind of brush down that arm, just give it a little shake, and just rest your arms, and just notice if you feel any difference between the two sides. And then just move your arms and maybe just flex your right and your left and notice, oh, Alison, I love your face. You're like, wow. So can you feel, do you feel the right side is more? That's why I love seeing your face. Brilliant. Do you feel that? Like the right side is like, woo, bendy, flexible, nice. And the left side is more like, creaky, creaky. High five, Alison. That's why it's called Holy Shift. Holy Shift. Blows me away every time. Yeah, totally. So how does your right elbow feel, Becky? And everybody, how does the right side feel to the left? And how does it feel to type too? Cool. Forward feels open, clavicle and shoulder as well. Better. Isn't that easy? Smooth and mobile. So now imagine you're doing a push-up. And it helps shoulder and neck. Brilliant. Imagine you're doing a push-up. I don't know if any of you do push-ups, but, you know, I know people out there who do push-ups. Which one feels stronger? Can you imagine? Which one feels stronger? So which one do you feel more internal resistance? So the one that we practice, right, feels lighter, more mobile, and I can see the video. Particularly, I can see it's great to see your faces, and they're like, oh right, yeah. The one that we didn't practice has more internal resistance, right? And were you able to make the click of the one that we did practice, the smoother one, being the stronger one? And isn't this interesting? Because usually we think when I feel the resistance, that means I'm really strong. But what it actually means is that we're fighting against ourselves. And then the strength we have is what's left over after we've finished fighting against ourselves. So actually we're weaker, but we somehow con ourselves into thinking that that means we're really strong. And it's like, for whatever reason, humans like to do that. They like to think if it's really hard, I must be working hard, it must be better. Not the case. Okay. Kenneth says, feels like I could ground much more into the right side of my yoga poses. Yeah, exactly. And you might also, you're standing up, you can also feel it all the way down that arm, shoulder, all the way down that side of the body into the leg as well. So there are so many results and gifts that we get given from our body, flexibility and stability and more flow and more strength and more ease, simply by just even a little bit of seeing what is. Because what did we do? We didn't really do anything. We just imagined something that's happening. It's like so freaking nothing, it's crazy. And yet, that is what is so huge about it, because it's the simplicity of being with what is, and our bodies are like, oh, thank you. And then they suddenly give us all these gifts. Yay, Becky. She says, OMG. Now my right elbow feels stronger and less pain. Yay. So we can do a little something else for the elbow. We're going to link the right elbow to the left knee. So this is within the body talk system that I have trained in, practiced for a while. This is part of the reciprocal, so it can be connected to Chinese medicine and the meridians, but basically we're going to get our right elbow to talk to our left knee. And there's something else about this, which I need to tune in and see what it is. It's a belief system to do with this connection. Okay, so the belief system that's coming up, so I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I'll explain briefly what belief systems are. I think I have a bunch of times, but I don't know if there's new people here, is to support myself, I need to brace against every possible resistance. In order to support myself, I need to brace, for every possible resistance. So it's almost like before it even happens, I'm like, let me just brace, just in case. So a belief system is when we, for some reason, get this belief in our mind and our body, because they're very connected, or they are totally connected. You can click return if you like, just while I thank you. Yeah. And we learn them, we pick them up, society has them, it doesn't really matter where they came from, but they're always connected to an emotion. So you can have a belief, and if somebody tries to challenge that belief, or if even you try and challenge that belief, you'll feel the emotion come up, and it's like, no, 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 I have to brace myself, and you'll come up with every possible explanation of why you need to brace yourself to support yourself. Yeah, very much like fight or flight. And when you can actually, when you're in a kind of calm state and a state where you can think more openly, it's like, oh, well, that doesn't actually make sense, does it? But the thing is, if our body is believing it, you can't think yourself out of the belief. So if you have a belief system and you just try and cover it up with more other beliefs, you haven't actually rooted out the original belief, and you've just created a whole gridlock of more beliefs, and you'll be constantly trying to be like, hang on a minute, what is it that I believe? So ultimately, we don't want any beliefs. We want our bodies to be totally free of anything. That way we can choose whatever we want in any moment. And also means that our body can let go of the emotion that it's stored connected to these. So we are basically, as individuals and as a group, ready to let go of some emotion that may be stuck to that belief system of, in order to support myself, I need to brace against every possible resistance. And I mean, it's human nature. You know, it reminds me of snowboarding, and I'll be like going down the hill, and I'll be like, ah! And the more you tense up, the less good you are at snowboarding, and actually the more likely you are to fall over. And again, if you do take a fall, the more you can relax into the fall, actually the safer it is, whereas our instinct is to brace and harden everything up, and that's when we actually get injured. So we're really rooting out some deep stuff here. Okay, so that's enough of me talking about it. Now we're going to tap it out. So what you're going to do, you're going to, okay, so we haven't really got enough hands to do this, so we're going to like twister it up a bit. So you're going to take, okay, so listen very carefully. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to place it on your left knee. Where's my left knee? Right hand, left knee. Then you're going to take your left hand, place it on your right elbow. Got that? So you're holding your left knee and your right elbow. Okay. You're going to imagine these two are going to have a chat. Left elbow and right knee. And then you can just take your hand off your elbow for a moment and just tap head and heart. And take nice deep breaths. So we're imagining the elbow and the knee kind of reconnecting, or improving their communication. Got my elbow on my knee. And then you can tap head and heart. So the tapping is getting your body's wisdom to go and look, see if it can improve it. And then tapping the heart to remember it. Elbow to knee. And tapping head, brain. Can you see this connection? Can you improve it? That part. And then take some nice breaths. And we're just also kind of imagining, faintly imagining this belief system of to support myself, I need to brace against every possible resistance. And our body is just going to go take a look at, shine the torch, to see if there's any emotion stuck to this phrase so it can process it, let it go, and then we don't need to have the belief system anymore. Nice deep breath. I just felt lots of like, how can I explain that feeling? Shimmeriness in my face. Nice. Okay. How is that feeling now, Becky, in your elbow? Good. Good, good. Getting better. Okay, so now, okay, I'm getting to ask for another body part. I'm getting to ask Alison. Alison, you're up. You're up. Body parts. Hey guys, we're just joining us. Oh, that's really funny. Bing! Did that just both click return at the same time? Didn't I tell you? Okay, so Alison says my left knee, and Petra says, Laura, I have issues with my left knee. And seriously, right now it feels better. Thank you. This is why I love this stuff. I mean, I love hearing, like, you know, when people's stuff gets better, but I totally love it when all the like synchronicities start happening. It's like a big adventure game. All right, so we're going more deeply into the left knee. Something with the left knee. So we have, what we're doing is kind of shifting some deep-seated energy patterns in the left knee to do with willpower. And it's to do with okay, so it's what's coming up is Monica is joining us. Yay! Hey Monica, nice to see ya. So what's coming up is to do with willingness and willpower. It's like, okay, so let me get clear on this before I say it. It's kind of like this belief in the left knee of, okay, so the phrase that's coming is, I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do that. Okay, that's saying those are all the words I need to give the thing in the left knee. That's okay, Monica. And there's a parallel session, so there's something else to do with this. I need to ask somebody something again. Heather, I need to ask you something. Heather, I need to ask you, have you had an insight recently? The past couple of days, maybe? I feel like there's something that you can add to this. Are you there, Heather? Type in yay if you're there, and then let me know if anything is popping up for you. Heather? In Heather. Actually, I was going to mention willpower at the 2:30 class. Huh? Actually, I was going to mention willpower. Can you explain that again, please? Oh, Kenna, no, it's okay. I'm asking Heather. Sorry, Kenna, about your connection. I need to see if we can get a better internet connection. So Heather, yes, explain more. Oh, okay. It's amazing that you just mentioned willpower. Okay, keep going. Oh, I see. Actually, I was going to mention willpower at the 2:30 class. Oh, okay. Can't read sometimes. Oh, right. I'm very proud of you for joining Holy Shift too. So there's another little something. There's an insight. What was your insight you had about it? Oh, I just got the chills when I read that. That I can't do it by myself. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's linking to the heart, and it's like a shedding of just this need to do it by myself. I don't think I need to explain anything else. I think we all can relate to that. Okay, so we've got the left knee, and what was the willingness thing? Thank you. I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do that. Parallel session, shedding the need to do it all by yourself from the heart. And then we have a parallel session of the sacrum. And there's a fear in the sacrum of being pulled off track, like being pulled off my track. And I just saw, as I was saying sacrum, I was seeing the sacrum like the rudder of a boat, you know, and it's like, you know, and it kind of really is that in many ways. It's like the base of our spine, and it's really coordinating where we're going, and it's kind of like the fear of, it's a combination. It's kind of like the fear of I could go off track, but it's also more somebody else can pull me off track. So it's, and you know, and it's kind of in a way reasonable, you know, like there's so much out there, there's so much information, there's so many people telling you this, that, and the other, you know, and it's very easy to be like, oh, do I need this? Do I need that? Shall I go here? Shall I go there? And okay, so I don't need to say anything else about it right now. We're just letting go of that fear of being pulled off track. And there is a link to the pituitary gland with a definition of intuition. And then there's another parallel session of the pituitary gland linking to the left knee. It's kind of coming back around full circle. And it's like when I know I'm willing, I can have the willingness. Yeah, and so it's like all these pieces are kind of linked to each other, and as they all shift, there's a new willingness, there's a new willing to let go-ness, there's a new opening, the letting go of the fear of being pulled off track so that I can be more in my intuition, because when I'm in fear, I can't be in intuition because I'm in fear. And as we're in intuition, there's a more openness for willingness. And there's a definition on this whole thing of trusting the feminine. Whoa, I just got the chills again, even more. Yeah, do I need to explain that anymore? A little bit. It's like it's trusting the softness rather than it always needs to be like grrr to get things done or to achieve things or to be valued. Just like we experienced with our arm at the beginning, like, oh, it's actually easier and I'm actually stronger. Oh, that everything can start to shift more and more into that place. Okay, this is way cool. All right, so we're going to tap this out. So we've got the kind of shifting that consciousness in the left knee around I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do that. Parallel session of shedding the need to do it by yourself from the heart as it relates to willpower and allowing others or needing others to shift, support your shift. Then in parallel, the fear of this, in the sacrum being pulled off track, particularly people outside of me could pull me off track, linking to the pituitary gland, definition of intuition, which is also our more feminine state of knowing. Linking back to the left knee, and that whole thing of when I know, I can have more willingness, and then definition on the whole session of trusting the feminine and trusting the softness. Okay, so you're going to put your hand, you can just put it on your middle, like kind of on your solar plexus diaphragm area. We're going to tap head and heart. So because it's coming up as a priority for us, your body is going to go now, take a look at this and really shift this, you know, it's going to self-look at itself, self-observe itself, updating that feedback loop of you, of your body mind, and shifting it on the level of your blueprint, like what are you resonating with? And so shifting all of these aspects to the next level for you. So again, just trust that your body is going to take you where you need to be as it relates to all of these pieces that came up. And trusting the softness of the tapping, even just the simple awareness can make the most dramatic change. And often the simpler and the subtler, the more powerful. A simple suggestion can create massive change. So we're just suggesting to the body-mind to go take a look at all of these pieces. Okay. So just out of interest, how are your left knees doing you two? Alexa and Petra, right? Is that right? Yeah. And how's right elbow, Becky? Is it more improved? Yeah. Oh, there's some other little pieces in there. It's all a jigsaw puzzle. We need all the pieces. I'm sure it will shift. Feels good, soft, comfortable. Beautiful. Cool. Alison says it was clicking before in the knee, but now it's not anymore. Holy shift. Isn't that crazy? Through the internet. Wow. Cool. So yeah, and everyone else, how are you feeling? Okay, well, you can start undiagnosing yourself there, Becky. You can rename it happy elbow. So practice your happy elbow every day, and yeah, the pieces will come together, and it will be like, oh yeah. Suddenly one day or very soon, it will be like, oh yeah, all better. So Ford says, open and receptive. Lindsay, the whole formula really resonates with me. Holy shift, yeah, baby. I love it. I write in your comment too. It's totally right. When I was like when I say I came up with holy shift or whatever, holy shift came up to me. It was like, this is what we're gonna be called. It was like, of course you are. Holy shit. Okay, good observation, Becky. And as of now, no more, right? Stepping more and more into your fluidity. Yeah, I totally feel that. Cool. Yay, Kenna. All right, so okay, so I'm getting that is our session for tonight, which is amazing because I'm actually on the schedule, which is a little bit rare. I can usually get carried away, and we're like half an hour later. Yeah, so just right now, just kind of check in, notice whole body experience, and did you achieve more of what you set out for? Which is so cool because you typed it in and I can go look at it. You can scroll back to the beginning. More communication and connectivity, yes, I think so. Space to move and create, how does that feel? A clearer mind, especially when things are going in overdrive. Less judgment of myself and others, to be fully my own experience and more consistent trust. acceptance of all situations, more energy, less negative self-talk, no physical pain. Well, hopefully you took another step towards that. Consistently experience sensations of feeling lighter, more lucid, sleek, clear, and crystalline. So did you take a step closer to that? I'm actually going to talk briefly about Emily's comment of less judgment of myself and others, and to be fully my own experience, because if you'll notice, the way we are able to put these pieces together, it's like, I've never experienced anything like it ever anywhere, of just it's like when you see the pieces come together in a certain configuration, it's like, well, of course. Well, of course you had that challenge or that issue or that pain. And it really allows me, us, people, to step out of the judgment of things, because it's like suddenly it makes sense. Well, of course that's, you know, the experience that you are having. And also because it becomes so easy to find the roots and shift things at the root level, you're not stuck to your symptoms and you're not stuck to your issues or the way people tell you you are, or like this person's like this and that person's like that. Well, it's like, well, yeah, maybe in this very present moment, but if you can speak to the wisdom of their body and get the right parts to communicate, suddenly they can be a new person. So why put any label on anything or any body part, and instead let's just be better listeners and better connectors, and then the magic happens and we can move through things. And it's fun and present. So yay. So yes. I feel so much love. So thank you, Becky. And I feel your love. And I totally feel the love. So I'm glad to reflect that with all of you. Yay, I'm so happy, Petra. And yay, feeling more relaxed and centered, way more trust, feeling perfection in it all. So tomorrow we start Holy Shift. Monica will be there. Yay! And Ford will be there, and Alison will be there, and Becky's definitely going to be there, and Emily is going to be there, and I'm going to be there, and Heather's going to be there, and a whole bunch of other people who are not here yet. So what is Pacific time? So Holy Shift, I don't know if you've all been to the Holy Shift page, has all the details on there, but it starts tomorrow. It is basically like today's session, except it's 90 minutes, twice a week, for 4 weeks. So it's a commitment. It's a time commitment, and it's a financial commitment. But it's the best freaking commitment you can make to yourself out there, as far as I know of anything else on the planet right now. So the times are 2:30 and 7:30 Eastern time. So what is that Pacific time? That would be 3 hours earlier. Basically, whatever the time is now, yeah, 4:40 and 11:30. And it is live because, as you can see, yeah, the magic does begin when you say yes. There's something very magical about the interaction and the moment-by-moment experience. So if there's any way you can make it work, or get out of work for 90 minutes somehow, putting it out there to the universe, I promise you, with that commitment to yourself, and just simply by showing up and having these tools, the magic is just like endless. And the love, Really, the love is really the strongest thing and the most empowering, magical thing. And it's not about this is the magic pill for the rest of your life. No, this is the magic process for the rest of your life. Until at least I find something better, which currently I haven't. So for now, I think this is pretty much as good and simple and easy and real and authentic as we're going to get it. The support from the group is immense. We have an amazing Facebook group that support each other in a very heart-centered way, not in a story way. And we learn as many tools and experiences and connections that we can fit into the time, and it's all perfectly coordinated by my connection to the everythingness. So from you and your feedback and your interactions, and it's really magical. So you can expect huge changes in your life and your body and your mind, and as much as you show up, it will give you that and more. And then lots of things you won't expect. And there's ups and there's downs and there's challenges and there's emotions, but there's a fundamental knowingness that it's all okay and that it's all in its perfect timing and that it's all a process and that you are supporting yourself, and the support of the group is supporting your ability to support yourself. Ultimately, it's all about you and your ability to support yourself, and the group shows up to support you doing that. So it's, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, so Becky, keep feeling that fluidity that you're starting to experience. Keep focusing on that. Keep focusing on that fluidity. And yeah, it's magical. So if you're called, it's a very special group of people we have. You can sign up at laurahensfranklin.com/holy shift. We start tomorrow. There is a scholarship contest going on, and it closes at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I'll let you know who the winner is at 8:30. And then I'm going to ballet class before I come back to do the first holy shift. There is also a payment plan. So currently I have, and this will also answer your question, Becky. So currently the payment plan that is there, which feels, this is doable for you, feels the most supportive for me and my admin side of things, because currently don't have a big team, but they're coming soon, is a $200 a month for 3-month payment plan. And if that is still out of your doable capacity, I can offer you $100 a month. It will add up to $600 though, so there's an extra like $37 or something just for the admin bits. And I'm pretty sure Holy Shift will continue. This will be the last one for this year, but certainly if you are choosing to come again, which most shifters are, it's significantly cheaper to attend again, and we have the most amazing group. Yeah, Monica says, don't hold back. If you feel called to join, just do it. Yes, cheers to that. So this will be the last free webinar for now, and we'll see when I schedule the next ones. I do love doing these, but at the same time, there's only so much time in the day. Yeah, exactly. Emily says, yes, it's awesome. No other words than what Monica said. So does anyone have any questions? How does that, well, I'll email you, Becky, but let me know that other possible. So Heather, that's a good question. I don't recommend doing both sessions unless you really called to, because it is a lot. I think one is enough, but if you have a real strong, I think Ford sometimes turned up for both of them, but she's been working with me for quite a while now. If you have a really strong feeling you want to come to both, you can, but really I'm doing the 2 sessions to try and be the most accessible for people all over the planet, because we have people in Bali. My mum actually is coming. She'll be her 3rd holy shift. And then we have people in Europe, and then we have people all in between. So it's you only need to turn up one, and all the replays are posted. So if you need to miss, I would say if you have to miss 4, then watch the replays of those. As long as you really do commit to watching the replays, that would be okay. I wouldn't want to miss more than that. Yay. Well, see if you can go talk to your person and get a 90-minute lunch break or something. But there'll be more things in the future. Yeah, we'll put that. Let's all send a message to your boss and be like, 90-minute lunch break. That's not that much to ask for, and you would be so much more productive and so much more efficient and so much happier. You'd be spreading even more joy around your office. Just get him to call me. You get him to call me, just before we start tomorrow. I would totally talk to your boss for you. I bet we could convince him. We'll just tap him on the head. You're like, come on. I bet we could. So if you loved tonight, if you had a release, good experience, a new embodiment, which I'm pretty sure we all did, unless you kept your mouth quiet, please go post that on my Facebook wall or tweet it so that we can share the love, because your words are even more powerful than my words when it comes to sharing this. And you have an insight, a message, a perspective that somebody else wants to hear that is going to be different from something I would say. So go share your words and your insights, and may the magic be with you. And I'm so excited if you're coming to Holy Shift, feeling the magic. So that's tonight's session. So